one stanza in each, and then the prayer and the proceedings continue. Thank you.
tuilinde Jumuiya Afrika Mashariki, tuwezeshe kuishi kwa amani, tutimize na malengo yetu. Jumuiya yetu sote tuilinde, tuajibike, tuimarike, umoja wetu ni nguzo yetu, idumu jumuiya yetu.
As we remain standing, let's pray. Almighty God, who in your wisdom and goodness have appointed the offices of leaders and the county assemblies for the welfare of society and the just government of the people, we beseech you to behold with the abundant favor us, your servants, whom you have been pleased to call to perform important trust in this republic. Let your blessings descend upon us here assembled, and grant that we treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation in so just and faithful manner as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country and those of whose interest you have committed to our charge. Amen. May you be seated. Your Excellency, the Governor, honorable members and invited guests, Standing Order 17, number 1, requires His Excellency to address the opening of each newly elected county assembly. Honorable members, accordingly, the Governor was notified of this exercise, and today's sitting, the 4th of October 2022, at 2:30 p.m. is therefore properly convened. Your Excellency, sir, and honorable members, it is custom of this honorable house to recognize distinguished guests whenever such visitors are present during sittings of this house. Allow me to recognize the presence of the following dignitaries: Her Excellency the Deputy Governor, Honorable Philomena Binea, all CCs and Chief Officers of the executive arm of the government, departmental heads of national government, led by the County Commissioner, Nzoia County, trade union leaders, Chamber of Commerce leadership, heads of parastatal and state corporation, religious leaders, among others. Your Excellency, Standing Order number 20, subsection 3, provides that your address shall be heard in silence and not followed by any comment or question. Please kindly note that and act accordingly. This is to our members. Without much ado, therefore, honorable members, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it's now my singular duty and gracious honor to invite His Excellency the Governor of Nzoia County, our beloved brother, Honorable George Natembeya, to address this sitting. Your Excellency, sir, kindly proceed and address the first sitting of the 3rd County Assembly. Karibu, sir. Karibu.
Mr. Speaker, honorable members, good afternoon. It is a tremendous privilege for me to address you today on the occasion of the official opening of the first session of the 3rd County Assembly. First, my warm congratulations to you all for being elected or nominated to this assembly. You must not see election or nomination to the assembly as a reward. On the contrary, it's a call to serve in one of the most critical citadels of democratic governance and doctrine. It is therefore of profound significance and calls for deep reflection on a day like today. This, Mr. Speaker, is because this assembly is a house for making laws and providing oversight over how resources intended for public good are used. For a country that celebrates and sticks to the rule of law, there is no great honor than being accorded the privilege of being at the center of that process. You, honorable members, are going to generate laws that define the type of environment in which people relate socially, how commerce will be regulated, how the environment will be managed, and how resources will be deployed. It is expected that honorable members will approach this task with humility and wisdom, that they will move with speed to ensure that they are facilitating and supporting the executive to do what is expected to do. To quote Bangladesh statesman Khaleda Zia, and I quote, "It is impossible to practice parliamentary politicals without having decency, politeness, and courtesy," end of quote. This statement was inspired by the boisterous nature of Asian politics, where often debate degenerates into shouting matches. We have seen some of that in some jurisdictions here, where disagreement between different factions has paralyzed debate, and that in turn has undermined delivery of service to the people. Let us think deeply about Mr. Zia's advice. As governor, I pledge the unequivocal commitment and support of my government to the legislative agenda of the county. I request and expect full reciprocation from you, Mr. Speaker, and the honorable members. Although we represent different political parties, we must align on the one fact that really matters at the end of the day. The elections are now over, and the mandate that matters is to provide service to our people in our wards, our sub-counties, and our county. Mr. Speaker, although challenges, uncertainties, and slow uptake of programs and activities stand in our way, we do not have the option of wasting time on lamenting. My government is moving full steam ahead to establish the framework to enable me deliver on my mandate. I have advertised vacancies in the positions of County Secretary, County Executive Committee members, and Chief Officers. The process of recruitment should end the next few days, and the successful candidates' names will be brought to this assembly for vetting and approval. Similarly, my government is in the final stages of developing the third generation county integrated development plan, CIDP, which will guide the preparation and execution of all projects and programs in the county. All the other planning documents, including the medium-term expenditure framework, the annual development plans, and the annual budgets, will draw from the CIDP. The guiding principle and framework for the CIDP is my manifesto. Honorable Speaker and members, we all know how easy it is to develop indulgent-sounding plans and make dazzling PowerPoint presentations. The real task, however, is in the implementation and actualization of the vision and impacts envisaged in these plans. But this is what we must achieve as the county executive working with the assembly, even as we adhere to the constitutional principle of separation of powers. My government will develop plans and execute projects and programs derived from the CIDP, as I've said, and the county assembly carries out its mandate of representation, oversight, and legislation. Mr. Speaker, my government has an extensive agenda to deliver, and I'm counting on the full support of the assembly to deliver. At the core of my vision is the intent to empower our people and give them the capacity to harness the many opportunities that exist in our country. The situation that we confront is pathetic. Honorable members, it may surprise you that 50% of Nzoia residents live below the poverty line. That is, they live on less than $1 or 120 shillings per day. Close to 60% of our youth are unemployed and have now taken to alcohol and drugs to blunt their agony and frustration. A visit to any of our informal settlements, Matisi, Kipsongo, Falklands, Shimo, among others, is an encounter with extreme poverty, suffering, and delinquency. We are sitting on the proverbial ticking time bomb here. Regrettably, this county lacks the primary sports facilities that will otherwise engage the youth productively. The executive will set aside resources to revitalize the available sports facilities, including the Kenyatta Stadium in Kitale Town, which is in a sorry state of disrepair. We shall also enhance the talent development program through establishment of the Mount Elgon High Altitude Training Center, which will also serve as the county sports academy. Mr. Speaker and honorable members, I am aware that this House enacted a law establishing the Nawiri Fund that was meant to empower youth, women, and people living with disabilities. After its establishment, the fund failed to meet the expectations therein. It has been mismanaged and quietly killed. I hereby commit to revive the Nawiri Fund by allocating to it sufficient funds. In addition, individuals who may have embezzled or otherwise misappropriated funds previously allocated shall be brought to account. Less than 1% of our people use electricity for cooking. Returns to our farmers from selling crops are abysmal. Few can put 3 meals on the table per day. Access to health is not satisfactory. Our education system needs urgent attention. Kitale Town is an eyesore. It is dirty, it is crowded, it's insecure. My government intends to do something about all this. I pledged during the campaigns that we'll restore the beauty, elegance, and health of our county. We will replan it, clean it up, and beautify it. I'll soon announce an elaborate rehabilitation plan that will provide proper walkways for pedestrians, planned parking spaces for the border operators, enhancement of tree cover, rehabilitation of the museum, and other key facilities. We will extend the planning to other centers and elevate community into a full town status. Additionally, we will empower the Kitale Municipal Board and direct it to develop and implement strategies to streamline operations at the Masinde Muliro bus park, improve revenue collection, and enforce law and order in collaboration with the National Police Service. My government will also review the user charges for border operators and make it friendly to the riders. In this regard, the government will start levying Kenya shillings 500 shillings, one-off annual operational charge for the borders as opposed to the monthly payment of 300 shillings. Mr. Speaker, we shall seek additional resources from the national government and partners to introduce and implement changes highlighted in my manifesto under 5 key priority areas. A, economic revival, under which we will pay special attention to agriculture. That is value addition, improved production and marketing, improve revenue collection, support industrial growth, invest in the tourism sector, promote enterprise and job creation. B, infrastructure, under which we seek to improve and expand our road network and our energy sources and utilization. Health, promotion of sports, and efficient transportation. D, under security and accountable governance, I intend to raise the efficiency and productivity of the county government, ensure that the county security system is collaborative and responsive, that community policing actually exists, and that land issues are streamlined and speedily attended to. For the youth, we have an elaborate plan for inclusivity and affirmative action by providing access to business opportunities, efficient and transparent procurement processes, and direct physical support to micro and small enterprises to enable them harness the enormous opportunities that lie within our county. Mr. Speaker, some of these promises will be achieved through completion of some of the projects we inherited from the first government. These include the Nzoia County Teaching and Referral Hospital, the Masinde Muliro Business Center, and the Tomboya Mother and Child Hospital. This will guarantee value for taxpayers' money, but the due diligence will be exercised as we do so. In agriculture, my government will focus on a 4-point agenda encompassing input subsidies, diversification, value addition, and marketing. Under the subsidy program, our small-scale farmers will access subsidized farm inputs to help them enhance productivity, to improve their food security status, and leave a surplus for sale. Under diversification, cash crops will be enhanced to supplement the food crops. Our smallholder and medium farm-sized farmers will be provided with seedlings and advised on how to nurture them. Success here should free them from the bondage of over-reliance on maize. Diversification will also entail venturing more into livestock, poultry, and fish farming. Improved breeding, disease control, and feed provision will be part of that subsidy. In order to extract more value from agriculture, my government will champion value addition in all the value chains. We shall work with partners to establish all categories of processing plants using appropriate technology. Examples of such technologies are the simple tomato pasting technology, juice and oil extraction equipment, flour milling, and single packaging equipment. The fourth pillar under agricultural development will be creating markets for farmers' products. My plan is to strengthen the cooperative movement, which will, in turn, pool resources to buy products competitively and sell in other markets outside our country. Success in agriculture largely depends on the land tenure system and the security farmers feel through land ownership. It's concerning that many small farmers in Nzoia still do not have title deeds. To ameliorate this, my government will set aside funds to extend the titling program, and in some really dire cases, pay title deed processing fees. This is in the spirit of supporting the needy in society. There can be no meaningful socio-economic development if farmers cannot reach just a moment, it's a mix-up here. There's a mix-up here, sorry. Just a moment. In order to improve management of county affairs, the executive will set aside funds to construct the county headquarters, which will be a one-stop service delivery point. This will besides the proposed fully loaded sub-county and water offices that will provide developed services to the citizens of this country. Mr. Speaker, in the water sector, my government will examine, restore, and reinstate supply of water in the existing pipelines, boreholes, wells, and springs. To deal with the menace of vandalism and destruction of the existing pipelines, ward administrators and sub-county administrators will conduct civic education and sensitize local population on the importance of protecting and maintaining these assets. They'll also mobilize the electorate to come up with committed surveillance mechanisms to protect the pipelines once the existing water pipelines and other sources are restored. We shall carry on with the supply expansion, including 1 mile connectivity for the Kiptogot-Kolongolo water supply and fast-track Kapolet Phase 2 project. Additionally, I will fast-track the separation process of the Nzoia Water Services Company, the WASCO, and the establishment of the county's sole water services company. This will improve the management and provision of water services in the county. In order to improve our environment, we must effectively manage solid waste. Regrettably, the solid waste generated in Kitale town is never collected in good time, leaving the town choking in garbage in some areas. The county's only dump site is also small and almost full. My government will urgently identify and purchase a dump site and also ensure that all waste generated is speedily collected and correctly disposed of. To achieve this, we shall increase the receptacle areas and skip loaders and explore the possibility of outsourcing solid waste management. Mr. Speaker, my government is preparing a supplementary budget that will be aligned to aspirations and priorities. However, we confront a challenge of abnormally high pending bills. Of course, these are county bills, and we are committed to paying them. However, we shall only pay those that are examined and verified. To do this, I am establishing a pending bills verification committee with strict terms of reference and timelines. Any pending bill that will fall short of the criteria set out in the terms of reference and the Public Service Management Act regulations will not be paid. Honorable members, it's not acceptable that our own source revenue is far below our collection potential, partly because most of the revenue collected does not reach the county coffers. To address this, I am with immediate effect putting all collectors and supervisors on notice that all collections must be collected and accounted for. The County Executive Committee member in charge of finance and planning will issue new targets to collectors and supervisors within 1 week from today. I believe that as a county, we can pay all our salaries through our own source revenue. We also must accelerate the completion of the county valuation roll. The updated roll will align land rates and rents to the current property market rates. The current county valuation roll is more than 2 decades old and is hopelessly outdated. As I begin my tenure as governor, one of the factors I have noted that holds us back as a county is division among leaders, which translates to divisions along tribal lines. For long, leaders have failed to acknowledge and build on the one factor that makes Nzoia unique, its cultural diversity. We must, honorable members, learn to celebrate the fact that the many communities that make the county's population give us a unique strength. We have in our county the riches that all the different communities in Kenya possess. Let us tap that by creating an environment that allows those energies and talents to be harnessed. I will lead from the front by establishing an all-inclusive and encompassing government and encouraging each community to feel at home. I am sure this is an objective that we all share. Let us work together to make it a reality. May I also propose that in order to generate and sustain dialogue, this Assembly and the Executive convenes a quarterly leaders forum. The forum will provide a unique platform to share experiences and ideas, and also review strategies to improve operations, enhance service delivery, and mitigate potential tensions in our service relationships. Sasa hii kitu nitakana ipangwe vizuri. Walichanganya sana. Can I be helped? They've mixed up these pages. There's so many things here. Then we will continue reading, but then put a finger on the conclusion. Okay, you can proceed. Okay, so let me check. Let me check. Are you? No, you know you mixed up these things here. What's here? Then it goes to conclusion. But watapanga tu vizuri. They're mixed up badly. Sorry, honorable members, sorry. It's a small mishap. Kuna ingine kuingilia barabara. It's not in order that our residents don't access markets if our residents cannot access schools, hospitals, and other services. If tourists cannot reach destinations they wish to visit, among others. For this reason, my government will revamp the road maintenance equipment to enable us fix degraded and impassable county roads. Where need be, new roads will be opened. We shall work with the Kenya Rural Roads Authority, that's KERA, to improve the road network in rural Nzoia. As for the urban roads, my government will collaborate closely with the Kenya Urban Roads Authority to maintain and, where possible, upgrade to bituminous standards some of the key roads. We shall also engage KENHA to hasten completion of the Kitale Swam Road and increase its presence in the country. Allow me at this juncture, Mr. Speaker, to request honorable members to allow our technical teams the freedom to do their work, where we'll be maintaining roads using our equipment. By all means, oversight, but do so in the spirit of separation of powers. Mr. Speaker, I have already alluded to the inadequate health services available to our people and some of the programs we'll implement. Drugs and equipment shortage is one of the most irksome problems calling for immediate action. To this end, my government will invest heavily to ensure a constant supply of drugs in our health facilities. We'll enter into contracts with KEMSA and other medical and equipment suppliers to provide the pharmaceutical and non-pharmaceutical supplies on a post-pay system. We have a challenge, of course, with the hefty pending bill with KEMSA. I want to report here that we have engaged them on a comfortable repayment plan, and we expect resumption of medical supplies soon. At the same time, despite the ballooning wage bill in the country, we shall strive to recruit critical medical professionals to improve the health service. In the education sector, my government will continue to construct more ECDs and build and equip workshops in our vocational training centers. Since enrollment in these centers is increasing, we shall consider recruiting more teachers and instructors. More urgently, however, my government will place existing ECD teachers on permanent and pensionable terms. It's not fair that these ECD teachers have been on contract for over 7 years now, serving on 2-year terms and have not been paid their service gratuity for even 1 term. This is unacceptable. Further, we shall enhance enrollment and retention of learners in our ECD centers by introducing the school feeding program and inter-school ECD co-curricular activities and competitions. There will also be a reward system to improve the morale of ECD teachers and VTC instructors. The County Public Service Board will be asked to develop an internship program for the VTC graduates. The Department of Education has been asked to mention in their budget the VTC Graduate Starter Kit program that's currently being offered by Tools to Work, which is an NGO initiative. We cannot continue to fully rely on the NGO program. That may not be sustainable. Honorable Speaker, my government will consider expanding the bursary program to provide meaningful support to bright, needy students in our county. I also intend to change the way the bursary program has been handled in the past. It is needless to have a bursary program that spreads itself too thin, that it fails to add value to the targeted learners. I intend to promote a bursary policy that will ensure that benefiting students are given a reasonable and sustainable support. In higher education, Nzoia is among counties without a public university. I propose that we seek to establish one public university as a priority, and I will shortly establish a task force to spearhead the process by seeking public views on this and mobilizing resources. Honorable members are requested to champion this cause. Another critical aspect of service delivery is the way in which the county public service is set up to implement projects and programs. The appropriateness and distribution of the members of the public service is the most important policy in human resource. A quick survey of the county public service indicates that the establishment has too many low cadre and general staff, but heavily lacks critical and specialized skills manpower. This makes it difficult to effectively provide specialized services. It also undermines the supervisory aspect of management. To correct this, I intend to recruit directors and other critical skill staff as a priority. This will be done in strict adherence to prescribed personnel ratio. I'm also asking the Public Service Board to quickly rationalize the available human resource and root out redundant staff and cost workers. I have also noted that the county developed units are weak and poorly managed. The officers in the developed units, especially at the ward level, are underutilized, tempting some to engage in politics, indulge in personal businesses, Let me take that again. I have also noted that the county developed units are weak and poorly managed. The officers in the developed units are underutilized, tempting some of them to engage in politics, indulge in personal businesses or unprofessional behavior. I will ensure that officers in the devolved units are busy managing projects and programs. They'll be required to provide county government services to the people at their local areas and under the coordination of sub-county administrators. In order to improve management of county affairs, the executive will set aside funds to construct the county headquarters, which will be a one-stop service delivery point. This will be besides the proposed fully loaded sub-county and ward offices that will provide local services to the citizens of this county. Mr. Speaker, in the water sector, my government will examine, restore, and reinstate supply of water in the existing pipelines, boreholes, wells, and springs. To deal with the menace of vandalism and destruction of the existing pipeline, I urge ward administrators, in liaison with honorable members of the County Assembly, to conduct civic education and assist the local populations on the importance of protecting and maintaining these assets. I also advise that honorable members mobilize the electorate to come up with community-led surveillance mechanisms to protect the pipelines. Once the existing water pipelines and assets are restored, we shall carry on with the supply expansion, including the 1 mile connectivity. Mr. Speaker, I will conclude as I stated and restate my commitment to nurture a professional, optimal, and flexible environment for all arms of government and our partners to collaborate and drive our common agenda. At the heart of that agenda is the promise to rebuild our county and serve our people selflessly and professionally. That's a commitment I implore all of us to embrace, because the privilege that we have been given to lead can only be prepared by selfless and unqualified service to the people. Let us make our people proud, honorable members. Let us make Nzoia shine again. It's now my singular pleasure to formally declare the first session of the Third County Assembly officially opened. Thank you, and God bless our country.
Honorable members, before adjournment of this House, today to Wednesday the 5th at 9:30, I would like to say that the Speaker used his discretionary powers, understanding order number 1, to allow the Chief Officer or the Assistant County Secretary to come in and assist His Excellency the Governor. So we were just in order. Number 2, allow me to give you apologies of our Senator, Honorable Alan Chesang, who should have seated on the left hand of the Governor. Today the Senate was opened officially, and because of the national duty, he sent his apologies. We also recognize the presence of the Chair, Public Service Board, whom we had not recognized in our initial introductory remarks. Honorable members, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I urge you all to remain standing in silence as His Excellency the Governor and the Speaker procession leaves the chamber. This House is adjourned till 5th October, 9:30. Thank you. Go this side. Excellency.